Hi, Jade. Hi, Jen, and hi, Marguerite. Okay, so here's some feedback on your Digipack Draft 1. Before I go any further, I just want to go back to this post which we did on previous students' work and where you assessed someone else's work. And you looked at these kind of four broad areas. These are kind of exactly the sort of areas I'm going to look at. And of course, are exactly the way in which you should phrase your targets going forward. So what do you need to do? Is it your use of camera? Is it your selection of mise-en-scène, words, or the way you've integrated the image? So let's have a look at your Digipack here. Okay, so here's your four panes. From that, I suppose the first thing I want to talk about is the image. Sorry, this is bugging the hell out of me. No. Right, the images which you've got, which you've gone for, again, is quite grungy, grainy, kind of nasty. Obviously, this is a very powerful image. This kind of inverted cross, which is normally this kind of anti-religion, certainly anti-Catholicism and anti-Christian kind of symbol. You've got the broken glass, which is an interesting symbolic code in terms of, well, I suppose whether it's a mirror is particularly symbolic, but something broken, something shattered, whether it's a kind of broken personality or something like that. Within this image as well, by the way, I was thinking, is this a reference to drugs? Are these lines of cocaine or something like that? So it's a really bold kind of anti-establishment image. That I'm a bit confused about this one. I don't know what it is. Is it a kind of pile of cloth or something like that? And I'm thinking, okay, is there a significance within your music video? Is there a branding idea? Is this a symbol? Is this a kind of motif you used in the music video, which you're now repeating in the Digipack? So this image, I'm a little bit, I don't understand it particularly. I suppose my big criticism, and here it comes, ladies, is that the images are very grainy. Now I know you certainly like the colours on the image. You like the kind of sepia tone within it, but the images are very grainy. And certainly when you zoom in, you can certainly see that you've lost quite a lot of that kind of crispness of the image. Now, that's up to you whether you want to go for that, but that's not good technique in terms of how you've taken the photograph. And I know you took a bunch without the flash, and you liked it in the frame on the camera, but for me, the image is just a little bit too grainy, and I think you might think about reshooting. It's up to you, but yeah, I'd struggle to give you a top mark for photography on this Digipack because they're so grainy. You'd have to work quite hard to persuade me that you photographed it deliberately like that, so it was deliberately grainy. Okay, so the image itself is nice. I certainly like your gradient from kind of sickly yellow down through to black, and I think that's interesting. But I think you could get it, I'd say, crisper if you had a better photograph. I like what you're doing with this mirrors. I think that's quite nice. I'm wondering if you can have a line between. I don't know. Is there a mirror? In what way is this a metaphor? We're holding a mirror up to ourselves. Is she holding a mirror up to her and being super critical? You've also got the font for Forevermore here across kind of Holly's chest there. I suppose I've got a bit of an issue because the font is the same as the mirror's font here. Conventionally, they would be different. Not all the time, but certainly they'd be different. And I'm wondering a little bit about the placement of your fonts here and your selection of fonts. I think you kind of need to keep working this a little bit. Although I like the instinct that, you know, that we've got this kind of reflection of mirrors here. Okay, I've spoken about this image here, and again, it's bold. You've got lots of negative space. It's very provocative, if that's what you're intending to do. That's great. This image here, again, you've lost a little bit of the crispness of the image. You've got this lovely broken glass, and you've clearly got some interesting stuff here, but something, again, it's not quite in focus. So this kind of crispness of the broken fragments of glass, I can't quite see. And if I kind of zoom in, I can't move it around. You know, it's not as crisp as I would like it to be. Okay, so on the back, I said I don't really know what the image is. I didn't kind of understand what the image is. I like this. I like it's simple and precise. I wonder if you might use kind of a little bullet point or something like that, whether it's a symbolic bullet point like an eye or something like that, or just a little cross. Again, you could use your upside down sacrilegious cross if you liked within it. Obviously, you haven't done the spines yet, so you'd have to do those. And your words down here have gone a bit crunchy. I'm not sure if you should use this font. I wouldn't use a more decorative font for copyright information. I think you should keep that in a really clean, simple, sans serif font. I think what might have happened as well, and what might explain some of the graininess, is the way you've exported this. Jade, you've clearly exported these as PNG files. Now, PNG's useful when you want to keep transparency. So you've cut something out and you've got some transparency and you want to keep that transparency. You save it as a PNG. However, it turns your fonts into images. So you lose a lot of kind of crispness in the font. If you download as a PDF, you retain that crispness in the font. You know, so that might be one of the reasons why I'm feeling it's a little bit grainy. But honestly, ladies, I think you should consider shooting again. I know it's late in the day, but I think the images aren't as strong. And like I said, I just don't think I'd be able to give you a top mark for the images because they're grainy and they're a bit out of focus. So of course, that is your joint decision. That's up to you whether you think you've got the time to do that. But I think, you know, get Holly May up to the studio, and you know, one of you take some more photographs while the other two work on the website. Also, her eyes. I know the eyes is the main thing, and it does make her look very creepy and demonic. Again, have you tried turning it white? I'm just wondering, because the image is so dark. You know, the black eyes aren't quite as strong as they would have been. I know in your mock-up used an image of white eyes within that. So there are a few things to reconsider in terms of the layout, and in draft 2, you need to have a discussion as a group as to whether you want to reshoot. I think thematically and generically it fits with your video really well. I think it's clearly it's within that same sort of genre. It's got similar sort of images about self-destruction and demonism and anti-religion, which I presume that's what you wanted to create. So well done. I think there's a lot of good things going on in here, but have a chat on Monday and we'll think about how to move forward. Thanks very much.